up here? The best is yet to come.
All right, here we go. I'm so glad Sonny found this mic with me because I hate to be fixed in a fixed position. It drives me crazy. So thank you all for coming this evening. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Frank Berna. And what we're going to talk about tonight is, whoa, it's on fire. Oh no, that's supposed to be there. Good. What's hot for the holidays? What's new for photographic stuff for this year? You know, this is the time of year that people start thinking about giving gifts. And I just wanted to mention something. For those, many people in here I met through Ritz Camera and Image. I used to manage the store here in town and in Coconut Point. I spent probably 15 years in the Ritz organization. That's how I met Sonny and Bill and, again, many other people in here. And when I was the manager at that store, I would often do presentations like this one. But I would actually bring product so you could look at it and smell it, taste it if you wanted to. And it's unfortunate that there are no more camera stores around, that you can't do that. And, you know, I felt very fortunate from, say, 1998 up until 3 years ago, I had actual hands-on experience with every single camera model by every major manufacturer that had come out in that time period. And now I don't have that. And it's very unfortunate. When Sonny asked me earlier this year, July, sometime around June, July, he said, would you do a presentation on new camera gear? I said, yeah, but why don't we wait until closer to Christmas? Because that's when the manufacturers all come out with their new stuff for the holiday. Well, in the shifting paradigm of the camera retail business, that ain't the case anymore. In fact, only one manufacturer introduced one new digital SLR this entire season. So I was kind of dismayed. So I did a little bit of research. And so going back to 2009, and that was the year of Ritz Camera's first bankruptcy, 35 million cameras were bought in the United States. In 2014, that number dropped to 9.4 million. This year, projected to be 7 million. So that's quite a drop in 6 years. And given this decline, and of course we all know the reason for the decline, the casual photographer is using their camera to take pictures. It's amazing that so many camera manufacturers are still in business. It's going to be interesting to see how many stay in business. But those that are still in business know what they have to do. They realize that their market is not that casual user that they pandered to for many years. It's the people that came here tonight. So that's good. That's a good thing. So what are we going to see as trends going forward? Well, again, that should be no surprise to you. Remember when you can go and pick up a camera for $100? You're not going to see too many $100 cameras anymore simply because the manufacturers aren't making them. Most people say, hey, my smartphone does good enough photography. In fact, some people have shown me pictures tonight that it's beyond good enough. It's actually pretty good. At Photokina, which some of you know happens every other year in Cologne, Germany, there were very few. In fact, there was only one manufacturer that even showed some new snapshot cameras this year. So they're going to go the way of the dinosaur, or Ritz Camera, as it were. Okay? So what's going to happen? Well, you're going to see that this year and into the future, you're going to find large sensor compact cameras. Many of you are familiar with the Sony RX series. You're going to see cameras that have big zooms in it for people that want to take a better picture with nice big lenses, but they can't afford or can't carry that 200 to 400 Canon with the 1.6 or 1.4 teleconverter. The Coolpix 900 is a great camera. Rugged cameras that you can take underwater, things like that. And we're going to see a lot more in terms of interchangeable lens cameras, both mirrorless and SLRs. 4K video is going to be a big thing coming up. 4K, as many of you probably know, is the next generation of high-definition video. Actually, 4 times bigger than you're going to get on your standard television now. And so as this becomes the new norm, we will see more and more cameras dedicated to capturing 4K video. 4K video requires a lot of memory, and up until this point, if you were interested in 4K, you would have to get an external hard drive and download to this external drive. That's going to be no more. You're going to be able to put it right onto an SD card. And not only that, but you're going to be able to take a single frame out of that video and have an 8 megapixel still out of that video. And they're calling that the 4K photo. Faster and more connections. A lot of you know that now you don't have to connect a camera to your device or to your computer, that you can wirelessly send your images over via Wi-Fi or NFC connections. There's a new Wi-Fi that's coming out. It's Wi-Fi 802.11ac. Okay, most of the ones that we use now are at that 802.11n. So with your, that's the one that's on your smartphone and your laptop. But this new version might be able to transmit stuff in gigabits per second, not just megabytes per second, okay? It uses a different frequency, a different band, the 5 gigahertz band. It does this, what's called MIMO, which is multiple input, multiple output streams. And it's using this new thing called beamforming. I don't want to go into beamforming, but if you Google beamforming, you can learn all about this new technology. NFC, or near field communications, that's like when you have your iPhone and you want to pay for something, you just put it in front of something. That is a new thing that's coming out that's going to be available in a lot of phones. And also, if you like to download with your digital camera directly connected with a USB cable, USB 2.0 is quickly becoming a thing of the past, and now everything is going to 3.0, which is considerably faster. And of course, if we go back to our nemesis, the smartphone, you know, I used to be so anti-smartphone, I couldn't tell you how many times I told people, I don't make phone calls with my camera, I'm not going to take a picture with my smartphone. Well, again, things change. We all get to be a little bit more learned, and so our new cameras coming out in phones will have more megapixels. They will do 4K video as well. They'll have larger sensors. They will shoot in RAW, as opposed to JPEG. A lot of them already do HDR photography. And as technology improves as well, we're going to start seeing cameras with optical zoom as well as digital zooms. And there is really good news. So now that the camera companies know that that market of point-and-shoot cameras is something they're not able to compete in anymore, they want to concentrate on making stuff for us. We finally are getting cameras, manufacturers to come around to think about us. So let's talk. I chose the big 3 to talk about tonight: Canon, Nikon, and Sony. And again, these aren't brand new cameras, but they're interesting cameras. And like I said, if you're looking for something for yourself, it's always good, even if you're an SLR user, to have a compact camera. Remember, the best camera you have is the one that's with you. So you may be in the market for one. You may be looking to give a child or a grandchild their first camera. So hopefully these are a couple of good ideas. Canon, who said they would never get into that mirrorless camera market, well, they lied. They got into it last year, actually. And this is the newer version of the M3, which came out last year, the M10. And it's a cute little camera. It's very small. It has 18 megapixels, shoots at almost 5 frames a second. It has an articulated screen so that if you want to take pictures down low or shoot up high, you can move the screen. It does full video, and it is interchangeable lens. There are a few lenses that Canon makes, the EF-M lenses, but you can use any Canon lenses as long as you have the EOS adapter. It will let you use any of the lenses on. But it's always funny to see that giant lens on that little box on the back. And you can have that for about 500 bucks.
Wow.
If you like retro cameras, and retro cameras seem to be pretty cool. So Canon has the G9X. You know, the G9 is Canon's professional point and shoot series. And the G9X is available both in that nice leather and chrome version and also in an all black version. It has 20 megapixels, shoots a little bit faster, 6 frames a second or 4:3 in continuous shooting. A fixed 3 times optical zoom, but it's a nice fast optical zoom. It starts at 2.0, so it's good for low light interiors. And again, we'll do the full HD video, and it's also Wi-Fi capable, and it also sells for about $500. The next step up is the G5X, and the G5X, as you can see, has a viewfinder. And one of the things that is a real pain with not only our smartphones, but most compact cameras, is we can't see them outside in bright sunlight. So having that electronic viewfinder is a great thing to have. And that viewfinder is very, very high resolution. 2.4 million dots in that viewfinder. It's about 6 frames a second, and it has a little bit more zoom than the camera, 4 times zoom. And you have one for about $800. And lastly, the big guy in the Canon lineup, my microphone guy. Oh, now I have this now. We're back in business. The G3X. And as you can see there on the lens, it has a 25 times zoom. And so for those people that are nature enthusiasts, that's a great little camera to have with you. You can also see that it has provisions for an external flash. Always a good thing to have on your camera. It has its Wi-Fi, and not only that, but it's NFC, so near-field communications, if you have an Android phone. Not for an iPhone, unfortunately, but for Android, it will go. And that camera can be had for about $900. So those are the newer cameras from Canon. Now again, these cameras are about 5 or 6 years old, or 5 or 6 months old, so you should be able to find them online, possibly even at a Best Buy or someplace like that. If you want a real camera experience, a camera store experience, there's really only 2 places to go locally, and they're not very local. One is Johnson Photography up in Bradenton, and a very good friend of mine, Michael Arbor, is the manager up there. The other place, if you're headed towards the East Coast, would be Pittman over in Miami. Those are the 2 only other places we can go to have that camera store experience. But for professionals, even though we don't get a lot of new camera bodies out from Canon, Canon did come out with a couple of great new lenses here. And so this is the 11 to 24 EF lens. And what Canon is doing is they're playing around a lot with coatings. And coatings are so important to lenses. Coatings cut down reflection, transmit light better. So they're coming up with these coatings. SW is a sub-wavelength coating, and ASC is an air sphere coating. And these coatings are designed to give you less lens flare, less ghosting, less chromatic aberration, purple fringing that we see on some pictures. If you need an ultra-wide to wide lens, a great option. Comes with a little bit of a stiff price tag, but hey, it's only money and you know you're worth it. Another great lens that's newer in the Canon lineup is the 35mm 1.4. And again, they're doing a lot with coatings and things. They have a what's called a blue spectrum reflective coating that, again, is designed to give you very little chromatic aberration, color fringing. 1.4 is always a nice thing to have on a wide-angle lens, great for landscape and interior photography, but it's a little bit more affordable, $1,800. Nikon, good old Nikon. Nikon has been in the mirrorless, smaller mirrorless camera market for a couple of years with the Nikon 1 series. Their newest iteration is the J5, a great looking little retro camera as well. It comes in black and silver, as you can see. 28 megapixels and a 1-inch CMOS sensor. It will shoot 60 frames a second. So if you're looking to do a lot of stop action photography, a lot of times people that are golfers or tennis players actually want to see, you know, why their swing isn't as good as it should be. If you can take 60 frames in 1 second, you can break that swing down very, very well and see, oh, I'm twisting a little bit when I do that. And it gives you a better idea of what's going on there. The lens that it comes with, that 10-30 lens, again, that's a special mount for the Nikon 1 cameras. It's a 27-81 equivalent, so it's a pretty good, and it's also NFC compatible with Android. You can have one for about $500. The giant among big zoom cameras is the Coolpix 900. The Coolpix 900 has an amazing 83 times zoom. I remember when a 6 times zoom was a big, you know, and I'm sounding like my grandparents. I remember when. Okay, 83 times zoom in a fixed lens camera. 16 megapixels at 7 frames a second. Not a bad price, $600 for that. You know? If you're really into adventure, the Coolpix AW for all weather series. Their newest one is the AW130. It comes in a variety of colors. I kind of like the yellow one because if you left it somewhere, you'd be able to find it easily. The neat thing about it, it has a built-in GPS, so it will always tag your pictures so you can prove you were there to take that picture. It has built-in maps, so if you're out and you're lost, you can find out where you are. With points of interest, it will say, walk over here and you will see this. It has an electronic compass in it, so, you know, again, if you get lost, you can figure out where north is. And we talked about using the smartphone as a remote with the trigger trap. Well, you don't even need a trigger trap to do it here. You just download the app and you can fire this with just your smartphone, both iPhone and Android here. It's waterproof, so you can take it into the pool or snorkeling, or, you know, if you're a diver, down to 100 feet. You can drop it from 7 feet. And if you like to ski, you like cold weather stuff, I don't know why you would do that. Well, I do that occasionally, so I guess I know why you would do that. But it's good down to 14 degrees. And you can have one pretty cheap. That's a nice little price for a compact camera, $300. The newest of the SLRs on the market is the Nikon D7200. It's been on the market 5 months, maybe 6 months. And other than the fact that it isn't the latest camera on the market, it has in-camera time-lapse. And a lot of people are really into doing time-lapse. You know, on the trigger trap you can do time-lapse. Well, this camera has a built-in time-lapse photograph, so it will, kind of an intervalometer where it will take pictures every so often. It's the first Nikon SLR that has the near-field communication, Android only, unfortunately, and a great ability if you like to do very, very low light photography and ISO up to 102,400. Only in black and white, but still, that's incredible. Remember when we thought, wow, Kodak just came out with 1,000 speed Kodacolor or Ectacolor, whatever that was. And again, the camera body price for that is about $1,100. Nikon has come out with a couple of nice lenses. If you have a 7200 or one of the DX smaller sensor cameras, the 16 to 80 is really nice. One of the things about that is that it has a new type of aperture, an electromagnetic diaphragm, which allows you to control the aperture in live view. So you can actually see what's going on. And I guess videographers would appreciate that the most, where, again, you're going to be able to see that in live view. Again, everybody likes to play with coatings on their lenses to do new stuff and give you better images. And so Nikon is using this thing called nano crystal coating. And again, the idea is so that we don't get ghosting, we don't get lens flare, we don't get chromatic aberration. And this, one of the nice features about this is that throughout its zoom range, it still has a minimum focusing distance pretty close of 1.2 feet. And a little over $1,000 will get you that lens. This was the lens that I know a lot of my private clients were just waiting with bated breath for. The 24 to 70 with vibration reduction. And again, it's they're looking for the real professional here. So they put all of the seals in it so that when you take it out and in the middle of a snowstorm or a hurricane, it's all sealed so that you don't do that. Plus they're doing the fluorine coatings so that it will make it easier to get rid of any smudges that you might get on your lens. And again, this electromagnetic aperture control is a big thing for cameras because it is so fast. If you're doing that continuous shooting at 7 or 10 frames a second, every time that has to open and close down, you don't get the variations in the aperture because the aperture is so slow. This one comes with a kind of a steep price tag, about $2,400, but again, it's a beautiful lens, and like I say, most Nikon photographers were waiting for this lens for quite a while. And lastly, for a nice, beautiful lens, again, nice wide aperture, 1.8 lens, and as photographers, we like those fast apertures, so it gives us those nice creamy backgrounds with great bokeh, and so it has the 9-blade element, which will do that. Again, the nano crystal coating, and this one is actually very affordable for what you're getting. $745 for that lens is really a decent price. And lastly, Sony. Now, many of you know that I'm a Sony shooter, and I've been an everything shooter. When I used to be a professional photographer in Pittsburgh, my 35mm stuff was all Canon. The good old Canon F, When I moved down here and I got into, I sold my whole studio up there, I came down here, I went to Nikon. And then at one point, when Sony came out with their first SLR, the 6-megapixel Maxim, I can't remember what it was. But anyway, it had to go to image stabilization. At that point, I sold all my Nikon equipment and went over to Sony. And I know a lot of people have also switched over to Sony. Clyde Butcher among those people. And Sony is the only one that came out with a new SLR this year, or this season. So the Alpha 68 is the new camera. The Alpha 68 uses translucent mirror technology. It's not an SLR in the strictest sense of the word, in that the mirror does not move. It's a fixed lens, a fixed one-way lens. Sony has this new 4D focus system that is supposed to be the best autofocus system in virtually no light. It has 79 points of autofocus detection that, again, just crazy there. And it's so new, they haven't even come out with a price on it yet. So you'll have to wait a little bit, give somebody a gift voucher if they're a Sony shooter. But that's the idea behind a translucent mirror. Again, it's a fixed mirror, it doesn't move, and because it doesn't move, it's a little quieter, it's faster because you don't have to wait for the mirror to move up and down. And Sony is big on that. You may know about Sony and their Sony 7 series. Their Sony 7 series are their mirrorless cameras, and they came out with 2 new mirrorless cameras. The 7S2 is really more for videographers. It's only a 12 megapixel camera, kind of, you know, a little bit of a throwback. One of the things about Sony now is their 5-axis stabilization. You know, most stabilize 2 ways, up and down, left and right. This now has 5-axis stabilization because it's the sensor in the camera that's stabilized, not the individual lens elements. It shoots 4K video. And again, it has a full pixel readout is the time that light strikes the sensor to the time that it's actually digitized onto the card. It has a very low timing there. And the idea of pixel binning, again, if you're interested in pixel binning, Google it. And you know, because it's way beyond the scope of this discussion, but it's really important because of the quality that you're going to get. With this camera, you can shoot to ISO 400,000 and 9,600. So imagine what you can do in here right now. But you're going to pay a lot to do that in here right now. $3,000 for a mirrorless camera body ain't cheap. The R2 is the more standardized version of the mirrorless Sony cameras. It has a lot more in terms of megapixels. It's a 42 megapixel. It's full frame. And again, technology is where these manufacturers are going. They want to make things better for us serious photographers. There are the technology of backside illuminated CMOS sensors. It just gives the image very, very little noise and very high quality. This will go, just like the Nikon, up to 1,000 or 100,002 ISO, 5-axis stabilization, and that means you can hold your camera 4.5 stops slower than you could if you didn't have any stabilization. And it likewise does 4K video. It'll cost you $3,200 if you want to do it. The RX is a very popular camera for people that are looking for a great full frame compact, well, it's not full frame, but a great compact camera with great quality. It has a stacked CMOS RS sensor. Again, the stacking frees up more space for high-speed circuitry, allowing a better image with lower noise. It has a pop-up electronic viewfinder, again, real important when we're shooting outside. A fixed lens of about approximately 3 times zoom. Shutter speed up to 32 thousandths of a second. Pretty good there. And 4K video for about $400. So, you know, treat yourself. You deserve it. And I just wanted to mention one other thing. Adobe has come out, as you know, most of Adobe products now are cloud-based. They're not cloud-based in the strictest sense, but we subscribe to them. Every month we pay to have it. But Elements is still something that you can go out and buy a CD for, buy your disc for. And Photoshop has just come out with Elements 14. So if you're an Elements user, you say, well, I have 11 or 12. What would I get by upgrading to Elements 14? Well, a couple of things. First of all, you would get the haze control. Now, for those of you that use CC or Lightroom, you know there's a new, in Camera Raw, there is a new haze filter that does a remarkable job if you have smog or smoke or fog, or you're shooting in a backlit situation. Just doing that slider just makes everything pop out. It's pretty amazing. And so they've introduced that into Elements 14. There is a shake reduction filter, which if you were moving the camera during your exposure, it will help you to reduce that. It's not a miracle. Remember, if your camera didn't capture it, it's very hard for Photoshop to give it to you. But it helps a little bit. And again, it might make something that's even printable. And lastly, if you do selections, it's a little bit of an upgrade to Refine Edge. They're calling it Refine Selection. And it just kind of makes your life a little bit easier if you do things like hair or fur. And you can buy Elements 14 for about 79 bucks, and oftentimes you can get it at Costco for 49 bucks. So that is what you can expect Santa to bring you this year, or you can expect to give. I wish everyone here a Merry Christmas or a Happy Hanukkah or whatever else you celebrate. And I thank you. Sunny lights, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? Yes, sir. The question is, or the comment is, there's been some problems with glitches to the upgrade to Photoshop and Lightroom. I have not experienced them myself. I have not been aware. Has anybody else been aware of any glitches? Yes?
When they came out with the last version of Lightroom CC, they had an issue with the graphics accelerator. If you're having issues with it, just go in and turn off graphics acceleration. It cures about 99% of the problem.
There you go, Dennis. Very good. Any other questions? Well, let's continue to buy camera stuff so that these people stay in the business and they can feed our habits. You know, I've always been a camera gadget guy. I love camera stuff, and I constantly bemoan the fact that we can't have that camera store experience anymore. You know, you can read every review online. You can, you know, listen to people tell you about this thing and the other thing, but until you can hold it in your hand or put it on your camera and go out and take pictures with it, you never know, is this really right for me? And so, again, keep buying.
Keep buying. All right, Bill's getting some numbers pulled. We'll have our door prize drawing. Somebody want to turn on some more lights back to the back? We don't want anybody falling down.
Oh, I do underwater.
Thank you. I don't know, ask people to count off. All right, we have the first winner. I'm only going to call out the last 4 digits. Oh.
I'm going to read to you the new members that have joined in the last 2 weeks, many of them here at the meeting tonight. This is really nice. Denise Sultan, Jim Chamberlain, Dana Vanoy, Dennis Perez, Paul Jones, George Osborne, Peter Spilvatore, Christina Fox, I think it's Charles Trayman, Bill Blackburn, Art Mazer, Richard Owen, Carol Burnham, Gary Weatherson, Ginny Evans, Ron Dunnington, Gabriella Casano, Gus Casano, Colleen Quinzel, Kathleen McCarthy, Eileen Sculpty. How do you say that, Eileen? Scultetti. James Kyer, Keith Gould. That's 23 people. Let's give them all a hand.
Very much. That's what, you can now pay your dues online and you can sign up online. So it's really working quite nice. And we have 12 door prizes. And the first one is 9564. 9564. There you go. Very good.
It's
Give a
okay.
few minutes to get up there. All right. And the next number. 9535. 9535. 9535. Very good. Hard to get around back there, but there we go. We'll have to set the room up a little bit better from now on. Put some more chairs out in the back. We always have the alternative to go in the auditorium. That seats 225 people. That's where we started, but nobody liked the idea of sitting in theater seats. It's hard to talk. So we'll try and put up with this as long as we can, but don't keep new members coming. We don't want to discourage that. 9517. Just go ahead and pick something. 9517. It's an honor system. I shouldn't say that, should I? Yeah, everybody gets up at once, right? 9517, going once. Going twice. Somebody's going to be unhappy when they look at their ticket and say, I had that one. 9517. No, I'm sorry, unfortunately it's 17. All right, we'll try another one. 9543. Ah, very good. Tom. Tom's part of our video committee. It took almost a year and a half to have this thing work. But I think Tom was the one who actually, Tony was the one who actually suggested that we try this. And thanks goodness for Eric sticking with it until it worked. 9498. 98. Pretty good. Oh. Well, we can't have two of you. 98. 9498. You got it? Go ahead. Go ahead. That's it. Yeah, that's right. That's it. They make these numbers pretty small, don't they? Sorry. Got a little excitement going there. Bob will get it pretty quick here. Our next meeting will be on December the 10th. When is our Christmas party? Where is it?
Saturday.
December 5th is our Christmas party. And if you haven't been to one of those, you're really missing a real treat, that's for sure. 9599. 9599. Very good. Winner in every ticket. You got yours, right, Jim? Okay, great. Well, Jim was first, I think, in fact. 9551. All the way in the back. It's going to be a long walk. next theme is Spirit of December. That's our theme show. 9522. 9522. Close, Jeff? No? Okay. 9522, very good. Don't give up, Jeff. Work. Because we had one that didn't work. 9490. 9490. Is that a winner there? I don't think so. 9490. Does he have 9490? No. Okay. 9490 going once. Going twice. You have to pull another one, Bill. 9561. 9561. Okay. Very good. Should have 4 left after this one. Oh, thank you. When you leave, if you'll tuck your string in the plastic holder, that would be greatly appreciated by the staff. Yeah, right.
Let's take 3.
I greatly appreciate it, believe me. 9603. All right, Richard, all the way from Canada. Good to see you, Richard. You guys just get here? Okay, very good. Well, that's the way to do. Come down and win a door prize. 9508. Ah, wonderful. There should be 2 left after you get yours. If you'll check, I'd appreciate it. Don't ever want to call a number and not have a door prize. I have to give away my cell phone or something. Are there 3 up there? There's 2 left. Okay, we're in good shape. 9617. 9617. Wow, very good. Now this is going to be the last one, so everybody don't jump up. Let's make sure we got a winner. I don't want to take a door prize back. 9604. Hold up your hand. 9604. 9604. Wait a minute. Oh, we got one. Gwen. All right. Thank you for coming. Drive safe. Don't party too hard.